Hello guys, it's Apexbulletdemon here, and I'm here to bring you a review of last night's patch for the War Z. Now, I'm immediately going to show you one of the new features, and in my opinion, my favourite new feature of this patch, and that is the access to global inventory and the marketplace via NPCs in these buildings here. And that one, as you can see, is labelled Vault. And I will show you the General Store building down there is labelled General Store. So basically we're just going to have a walk in here. Well, we're not, because this is what's happening at the moment, guys. People are actually being a bit silly and barricading the stores off so you can't get access. But basically when that's not happening, you can go in there, you can click on that guy, and it will give you access to your global inventory without logging out of the server like you used to have to do. Now, it's the same kind of thing here with the store. You go in to the store and you speak to this guy here, and he will, I can actually show you this, he will give you access to the global marketplace without having to log out of the server. Now, as you can see, there is a minor bug that I particularly seem to be getting since this patch, where I'm constantly running on the spot. I'll show you this in third person, as you can see. Not sure what that is, but that needs a little bit of a fix. But those are the two features that I like the most: the access to global inventory and the access to the marketplace without logging out of the server. Now, I did on my first welcome video show you guys Whitestone Mountain, and I can't remember if I showed you a bit of Boulder City, but I think I did. But what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to go to those places and show you how they've changed with another of the new features: the item spawn, the loot spawn rebuild and the zombie spawn rebuild. And obviously something else I do want to point out, which unfortunately I can't show you too well because I have to run on low while I'm recording, as I've explained in previous videos. At the moment my unit is a work in progress, but basically there's been a whole huge lighting optimization in the whole map, and it does make the lighting look a hell of a lot better. Also, they've added a join server join group function, so that you, before you join a server, you can invite your friends to a group and you can all join that server in a big group. So that's pretty interesting. What I will do is give you guys the link when I re-find it. Sorry, I did find it last night, but I will re-find the guys the link that shows you the button you have to press to access the invite to group feature. Also, what else was it that they put in this? Also, they brought in the rentable servers. Now, I'm going to have to be a little bit negative towards this, because they deceived me and a lot of other people in the pricing of rentable servers. Now, I looked it up, and basically for a 30-man server in an EU server with a password lock, you are looking at around £45 for 1 month, which is, for me, very steep. And I would certainly not consider renting a server at this stage because of the pricing, but that is in the game now. Obviously other people may not be concerned by pricing and so on, so that's in the game. And as I say, we are going to travel to Whitestone and Boulder. I will cut the video for you guys so you don't have to see all the travelling, but I'm just going to make sure I quickly covered the other features while we're travelling at this point in time. What I do believe is also coming, but they haven't still put a release on, but it's due, is the skill tree. They have promised it now, and it was supposed to be out with this patch, so I'm assuming it is very near. So that will be coming very, very soon for you guys. So that's going to be a big change to the system, going to be a fantastic new feel to the game. They fixed a few bugs with the patch, nothing incredibly major. There was an Alt F4 bug where you could Alt F4 and you could actually still server hop. That's now gone. You can't Alt F4 and server hop. You will be randomly spawned if you spawn into a different server as before. And they fixed a bug where you can't now reload on a full mag. I think it is. Yeah, you can't now reload on a full mag. That was a bug before. That's now gone. And they fixed a few other minor bugs. But yeah, we're going to travel, as I say, to Whitestone and then to Boulder, so I will cut this video for you guys, and I will see you very shortly when we've reached Whitestone so that we can have a look how the zombie spawns and item spawns have changed. Welcome back, guys. As you can see, we've just reached the edge of Whitestone. We're about to go in there. Now, something I did actually forget about in the earlier part of the video was the other kind of new features, and that are the two new weapons, the Mosin Nagate rifle and the M1911 handgun. Now, I personally haven't found them yet, and I'm really looking forward to finding them because they're personal favourites of mine. So maybe we'll even find them here today in this video. Another thing I do want to point out is, I'm going to sound a bit silly now, the running on the spot thing was actually nothing to do with the game itself. I actually had a control pad left plugged in, and it was basically conflicting and causing me to run on the spot. So, little lesson for you guys there, don't ever leave your control pad just randomly plugged in like that, because some games like War Z will have a bit of a confliction with it and you'll be running on the spot all the time. So yeah, that's nothing to do with the patch, so nothing for you guys to worry about there. Something for me to personally to remember in the future as well. Now we're just going to take out a few of these zombies and explore the main spawns that I know of in Whitestone, which I will explain as I go. Now the back of these two buildings, there did used to be a couple of loot spawns that spawned sometimes some rucksacks, most of the time the food and water, and it was usually pretty good. Now there used to be one in that blue car and there no longer is, or there isn't here, so that's changed there. There also used to be a spawn here, which looks like it's now gone. The spawn between the dumpsters is not there, as we can see. So it looks like some pretty heavy changes have been put in place. These vans usually hold items, but again, nothing there. So we have to remember this place could have been looted. We don't know for sure. But, as I say, there has been a huge loot spawn rebuild. And I do have to quickly apologise. I keep referring to them as items. They are technically referred to as loot in this game. So every time you hear me say item, just remember the word loot. I need to get in practice for that. Now the police car used to be a really good spawn for weapons, everything basically, and we got some bandages and flares, so there's still spawns there, which is a good sign. Now something I do want to quickly point out as well that I have just noticed is the certain buildings have actually changed exterior and interior colours. The medic station, as you can see in the distance, has a red paint job now on a lot of the walls. So they are changing a few things visually as well, which they didn't actually mention, which is quite nice. Quite some surprise changes. And in here, I don't know if you guys can hear the sound, but there is actually a zombie in there banging around. And I don't know if that's a future thing, but it sounds like a very, a different zombie entirely. So maybe that's a future thing with a special zombie there. Little Easter egg perhaps, but I thought I'd bring that to you guys. I noticed that when I was playing actually last night when the servers came straight back up. We're going to go in here. This used to be a lot of food and water spawns in here. As you can see, there's an instant oatmeal. We are just going to grab things as we see them for now. As I say, I, like the rest of you, are no better informed on how much stuff is spawning, so I'm grabbing what I'm seeing at the moment with this game. The middle of Whitestone, where this bus and cars were, used to have quite a few food and water spawns as well. So sometimes you had a weapon spawn here, so we're going to check this out and see what's changed here. And there's absolutely nothing here, which is very interesting. Right, we're going to go over to the medics. No, sorry, we're going to go to the supermarket and swing back across to the post office and then the medic station and head to Boulder. So we'll check this supermarket out. And the car in front did sometimes used to have spawn, but not regularly. And as you can see, this market does have some spawns. What have we got? We have a bag of chips, which we're not going to take. I don't find them very useful. Lots of bags of chips. A white chem light. Haven't seen one of those for a while. So I'm going to grab that. And it looks to be all in here. So some low-end food spawns and a miscellaneous item spawn. Now on the floor here, I've just found a high-end food spawn, coconut water, which, as I've said before, is an incredibly valuable source for water. Pretty much as effective, if not better, than a water 1 litre. Then again, they may have patched that down. I've not actually used coconut water since the patch, so maybe we'll have to see what that does. There's a juice randomly in the road here. Now that's definitely a new spawn. That was never there before. There's also nothing in the blue car. Nothing on these benches outside the post office. There did used to be loot on those. Somebody has barricaded the heck out of the post office. We're going to go in there and check it out. Be very wary while we do. Now the interior of the post office, you'll notice, has changed. It's just the one counter here, and there is no loot in here at the moment. So yeah, definitely some visual changes that they put in as a little bit of a surprise, I guess, a little bonus. Maybe to compensate for the kind of broken promise of the skill tree. I mean, they did originally promise the skill tree was coming with a patch, but then in the patch notes it wasn't there, so, you know, you can kind of argue that it wasn't fully promised. Now there's a note here. This has never been here before, and it's bugged, so we don't know what's going on with that. And in here there's some painkillers and bandages. So the medic station still spawns medical equipment, which makes a whole lot of sense. But it did used to spawn guns and so on, so maybe they've fixed that now. So yeah, we're now going to head towards Boulder. I will have to cut the video a little bit while I'm travelling. I do realise it's going to be quite a long video, this one. I'm just going to take out the zombies, and then I'll get a bit closer to Boulder and I'll resume the video for you guys. Yeah, so I'll travel to the edge of Boulder for you guys, and I will see you very shortly. Okay, welcome back again, guys, and as you can see, this is immediately changed with the number of zombies here on this corner of Boulder. And again, with the patch, the notes were described as if there's a large group of zombies, that's where you're going to find the higher items, loot spawns. So perhaps we're going to come across something rare here, but we'll just take out these zombies first. Again, I will always encourage when dealing with large groups to constantly be backing away when there's a large number of them. And that was a bit of a strange incident with him attacking me while hitting, but we're not infected, so we won't worry about that too much. Now on the corner here, there didn't used to be anything spawn here, but I've for a long time been expecting loot spawns, sorry, to be placed here. So we're going to check this out. Take out. Oh, we didn't want to get hit there, but we're still not infected, which is very lucky actually. We're going to heal ourselves up. There we go. Sorry for that little delay there, guys, while I was healing. Just slowly take the zombies out so that we don't get any of them running up behind us at any stage. And as you can see, I'm expecting some very nice loot here because the amount of zombies we've had to get through just to get here. That's a very good indication. If they stay true to their patch notes, then we're going to find something pretty nice here. And as you can see, there is a lot of loot here. Now we're going to grab this light forest here, another tactical knife, energy drink, another energy drink, Stan Mag 30, which is always nice, a beret, which I've not got before, and a Bonnie Hat Desert. Now I don't believe it's going to be possible for us to grab that, but we're going to give it a go. Now without climbing those blocks, I don't see a way to grab that. I'll take this zombie out. And another one's going to come at us. And we've got another one coming at us. Plenty of zombies here, so oh, we've turned around right into one. Very lucky not to be infected at this stage, and you can see when there's large numbers it does get very hectic. Now in here there's now spawns, and there never used to be any loot spawns here, so This now has some loot spawns. That hammer there I don't need. I have a lot of melee weapons building up now. But certainly things like juice are very useful. I personally do not find this item, the mini saints, very useful. They weigh the same as a can of pasta and aren't as good, so they're not something I choose to collect when looting. Upstairs, still nothing, but it's nice that they've put in some downstairs loot. Now we're going to head to the chopper wreck. As most of you know, that was a well-known loot spawn before, so we're going to check that out. I'm very aware this is potentially going to be one of the longest videos I've done, and I do hope that doesn't put you guys off. You know, there is a lot for us to cover in terms of loot spawns. So, again, we've got so many zombies to deal with here. It is a bit ridiculous at times, but, you know, that would happen in the world scenario, so understandable. What's not understandable is the fact the money dropping system seems to be, once again, not very good. They did originally make it so that places like this, the zombies dropped a lot of money, but we're not seeing any drop on any of those zombies, and again they're falling through the floor, so some little bugs for the guys to fix. So many zombies for us to get through. Certainly wouldn't recommend making this run on your own unless you are an experienced player such as myself. Done this run countless times, so you know, I know what to expect in any case and scenario, most of the time anyway. You can never quite fully predict for this game in particular. Which makes the game, obviously, as I say, a very entertaining game. But that's the first bit of money we've seen, and we've killed probably around 20 zombies, so again, that does need a little bit of a fix perhaps, or maybe that's what they intend for it to be, you know. If that's what they intend, then well done to them, you know. I'm not going to complain, you know, you wouldn't see money everywhere in the end of the world scenario, so there we have it. That could be their intention for the system of money. There's another load of money there. Right, these police cars did used to spawn loot. I will keep reminding myself. But again, there's nothing, and the chopper actually holds nothing, which is a strange situation. If they've removed the loot there, then that is a very strange decision. And we are starting to get regular monies dropped, so that may lead me to believe that the deeper into the cities that you get, the more chance you get. Just going to take out this zombie here, and then we're going to check the buildings that I would normally run through before the patch that were usually very good for loot. Now this is one of them, so we're going to see what we got here. Now on the ground floor immediately, the loot spawn there is either been taken or is not there at all, so I don't feel like this place has been looted before, so I'm assuming this is all the loot spawn changes, and in this building there is absolutely nothing. So that's an interesting change, if that is. Then we're going to go across to the next building. We're going to check the bus while we're there. Spawns food and water before, so we're going to have a look to find nothing again. Now I could very well be wrong again, remember, on the fact the place has been looted or not, but again I just don't feel that it has, so we're going to take this as the loot spawn system change, which I'm liking this, to be perfectly honest with you guys. I don't know about you guys, but it's making loot, you know, you got to go out of the way to find loot again, you know, nobody knows where it is, which is very, very good. In here used to have a lot, and nothing again is the situation. Now we're just going to make a quick run down to these vehicles, and then we're going to go back up to the other end of the city. These vehicles usually have food and water spawn. I have before found a weapon or two. There's a bag of chips there, so the spawns for these vehicles are still there for loot. This one in particular, I mean, this police car would regularly spawn loot. You know, all sorts of things here, but it looks empty. And we have a chocolate bar in the taxi. We're not, again, as you said, you've seen before with my videos, I don't really value things like bags of chips, chocolate bars and granola bars, so I don't pick them up at all. Now, there's absolutely nothing down this end, so we're going to go up to the other end and check that out. But, you know, I may not be the only one doing reviews on the loot spawns, and this was a popular place to find loot. So again, this very well could have been looted recently, but you know, I really feel this is the loot spawn changes, and it's a good way to go. So we're going to go up the end of the street. We're going to have a quick look around. I thought I heard something behind me, but obviously not. We're going to do a little bit of a sprint up there to speed things up a little bit. Now, in Boulder, I wouldn't recommend sprinting unless you are here in this submerged part of the city where there isn't really any zombies, because when we get up the other end, if I start sprinting, I'm going to get out, you know, a huge group of zombies. Usually, anyway, there's a huge group of zombies up there that would start, you know, chasing after you. So, where again, the zombie spawns have changed, so who knows how many zombies are up here. Now, if any of you guys played over Christmas, you'll remember that the Christmas tree was actually in that courtyard there. That's still empty now, so I'm guessing that isn't going to have anything particular in it. It's just going to be, you know, maybe seasonal, you know. When Christmas is there, the Christmas tree is going to be there, and if other seasons they bring special things in, maybe they'll put them there again. Now, I'm actually going to check this building out because I've never checked it before, so we're going to do a quick check of this building. The loot spawns could have moved here, so it's well worth doing. Again, I would encourage this kind of thing, checking places you've never checked before. Nothing here, however, but again, I strongly recommend that, as the loot spawns have completely been rebuilt, which is probably my second favourite feature of this patch, behind the NPCs in the shops, in the settlement store, access to global and marketplace without leaving the server. Now we're going to carry on pushing down the street, and usually in here on these doorsteps will spawn loot spawns. I keep going to say items, I do apologise. And there is nothing there. Now down on these steps there would be loot spawning before. I've found generally medical supplies and ammunition, and we have nothing. Very, very interesting this. Very good sign for me personally. I like this. The fact that I'm going to have to do a lot of homework now, a lot of exploring to find out for you guys where the good loot spawns are, and when I do, I will definitely bring you guys a video covering some good loot spawns, which seems like what used to be good loot. Oh no, we have a metal bat, so there is still loot spawning in this building. But yeah, what seems like places that used to be good loot spawns, clearly, as it stands, have been drastically changed. But we'll keep at it. And it doesn't look like we're going to find much on this journey. Now in this video, guys, I'm not actually going to travel back to a settlement. I would encourage that when you're looting and you find a lot of loot, but you know, we found a lot, but you know, experienced players, it's your decision on whether you want to travel back straight away or not, and I'm just going to choose not to this time around. Going to check these couple of vehicles out. Nothing in the green vehicle. Nothing in this van. So yeah, guys, as you can see, the loot spawns have been drastically rebuilt, and the whole game, I have to admit, feels a lot better now. And The zombie spawns are really nice. The lighting, I have played on high when I'm not been recording, and it is really nice. Sunset looks amazing. And the NPCs are brilliant that way. So all in all, I'm going to rate this patch as an 8 out of 10. A few minor fixes here and there that are needed, but a very good patch in general. So that will be it for this patch review, guys. I'm going to just stop off here, and I'll see you very shortly for some more War Z.